The untold story of the secret war between the West and Ibrahim Traoré. In October 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré led a military coup in Burkina Faso, ousting President Paul-Henri Sandaogo Damiba. This marked the second coup in the country within a year, as Damiba had himself seized power in January 2022. Traoré's rise to power was fueled by widespread dissatisfaction with the government's inability to combat escalating jihadist insurgencies and protect civilians. A shift in alliances. Upon assuming power, Traoré initiated a significant shift in Burkina Faso's foreign policy. He expelled French troops stationed in the country, marking a clear departure from the nation's historical ties with its former colonial power. Traoré emphasized the need for win-win partnerships, seeking new alliances that would prioritize Burkina Faso's sovereignty and interests. In place of Western support, Traoré turned to countries like Russia, Turkey, Iran, and China for military assistance. He asserted that these nations were more willing to provide the necessary arms and equipment without the restrictive conditions imposed by Western powers. The Western response. The West viewed Traoré's actions with suspicion and concern. Accusations surfaced regarding the presence of Russian mercenaries, specifically the Wagner Group, in Burkina Faso. While Traoré denied these claims, stating that such rumors were fabricated to isolate his government, the allegations fueled tensions between Burkina Faso and Western nations. In response to the coup and subsequent policies, France withdrew its ambassador and military forces from Burkina Faso. Other Western nations expressed their disapproval through diplomatic channels, leading to a strained relationship that persists to this day. Internal support and challenges. Despite external pressures, Traoré maintained significant domestic support. Mass rallies in Ouagadougou demonstrated public backing for his leadership and a desire for greater autonomy from former colonial powers. However, the country continued to grapple with severe security challenges, including widespread displacement of civilians and attacks by jihadist groups. A new regional bloc. In January 2025, Burkina Faso, along with Mali and Niger, formally withdrew from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, citing a need for more effective regional cooperation. The trio established the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, aiming to strengthen military and economic ties among member nations. Conclusion. The secret war between the West and Ibrahim Traoré is characterized by a complex interplay of geopolitical maneuvering, shifting alliances, and national sovereignty. While Burkina Faso seeks to redefine its position on the global stage, the challenges of internal security and international relations continue to shape its path forward. However, thousands of people rallied in Burkina Faso's capital Ouagadougou on Wednesday in support of the military junta after an alleged coup attempt and comments by an American official criticizing junta leader Ibrahim Traoré. A while ago, the West African country's military government said it foiled a major plot to overthrow junta leader Captain Ibrahim Traoré, with the army alleging the plotters were based in neighboring Ivory Coast. Earlier this month, General Michael Langley, the head of U.S. military in Africa, accused Traoré during a U.S. Senate committee hearing of using Burkina Faso's gold reserves to benefit the junta at the expense of the population. Crowds of protesters gathered at the Place de la Révolution in Ouagadougou on Wednesday, chanting "Long live Captain Traoré," with some holding banners showing a photo of General Langley with the word slave written on his head with red marker. Others waved Burkina Faso and Russia's flag, a close ally of the West African country. Osabai Yohan, a musician who came to the protest, said he is not surprised at the accusations launched by Langley. Because Colin Powell lied, Iraq was destroyed. Barack Obama lied, Gaddafi was killed. But this time, their lies won't affect us. That's why we tell them, we're not against them, but we are against predation and economic slavery, he said. Until last year, the US had military bases in neighboring Niger as part of its counterterrorism work in the Sahel, an arid strip of land south of the Sahara, but withdrew after the West African nation ended the military agreement between the two countries. Burkina Faso, along with its neighbors Niger and Mali, has for over a decade battled an insurgency fought by jihadi groups, including some allied with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. Following military coups in all three nations in recent years, the ruling juntas severed military ties with long-standing Western partners such as the US and France, and turned to Russia for military support. Mali and Niger created their own security partnership, known as the Alliance of Sahel States, in 2023. Following a September 2022 coup, Captain Ibrahim Traoré was named the transitional president of Burkina Faso and promised to bring security and prosperity to the West African nation, capturing the hearts and minds of many young people in his country and around the world. Sekou Anchimariam Dukali, one of the protesters, said he came to Burkina Faso all the way from Liberia. "I came to Ouagadougou today to participate in this demonstration in support of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, because he represents hope for Africa, hope for black people, hope for all freedom fighters around the globe," he said. However, since its inception, the junta has struggled to end Burkina Faso's security challenges, the very reason that it said prompted it to take over power in 2022. According to conservative estimates, more than 60% of the country is now outside of government control. More than 2.1 million people have lost their homes and almost 6.5 million need humanitarian aid to survive. Meanwhile, human rights groups say the country's armed forces and militias have committed widespread abuses during counterinsurgency operations, including unlawful killings of civilians accused of supporting Islamist fighters. It is impossible to get an accurate picture of the situation in the country since the military leadership has installed a system of de facto censorship, rights groups said, and those daring to speak up can be openly abducted, imprisoned, or forcefully drafted into the army.